So the question I ask just about every couple that I coach is a question that we really don't get asked growing up, which is sad because it's really an important query to us being able to understand why we choose to have certain people in our lives as friends and then as partners and as life partners that we're out here raising kids and stuff with. So it's very important, but it gets lost in translation. And it's a gift we can give to ourselves and a gift we can give to our children. So I'm going to get to the question in just a second, but story time. So I went up to my daughter. Hopefully I'm normalizing this for her and she's just because she will give me a face. So hey, I just want to talk to you about something. If something comes up to me, I want to have the conversation with her. I talked about another video how I feel like conversation, I'll try to boop it up here somewhere. But in conversation with her, that conversation is the curriculum, that's what sticks, that's what helps us learn and stays with us, right? So I take opportunity to have conversations with my daughter. So I was like, hey, I want to talk to you about something. When you're picking a mate, and as soon as I said that, she's like, what? Like that's beyond her right now because she's 10. And I was like, okay, reframe when you're picking someone that you want to have in your life, right? This could be a friend. What are the things that you think about, right? And this is not something new. When she started really honing in on friendships that felt tight for her, I would ask her like, "Oh, why so and so? Why do you like hang out with so and so? Why is so and so your friend?" And I would just listen. So these are seeds planted over time. And so I was like, when you pick that person, it's really important to be able to hone in on certain things around their characters. Like, I know, because we've talked about this, but things that you might not know to look out for are those subtle things, right? Someone who maybe tries to change you or, in ways of like, oh, your hair looks cute, but it would look better if it was in a bun or if you put it up more, right? Those small things that people might say or do that maybe you don't have the words for, but it feels like, oh, they're trying to shift something or they're trying to kind of control what it is that I'm doing. I didn't use the word control, but I'm using it right now. And I was like, what do you think about that? And, she was saying, oh, I want to just be myself. And, I'm only going to change if I want to change something and, saying all the right things, right? This will be tested in real life and in real friendships, but planting seeds here, best I can. And I was like, yeah, yeah, exactly, right? Someone that you have in your life that's important to you is someone that you embrace because they accept you for who you are. They embrace who you are. And you're young and you're figuring out who you are in this moment, in every moment. And a lot of the friends that you have and people in your life right now are also figuring it out. I'm in my 40s, in my big age, and I'm still figuring things out about that, right? I'm still learning about myself. That's an ongoing thing. Just what does discernment look like? What kind of things do we consider, around a person? And she was like, yeah, yeah, I hear you. Like the way kids do, the way kids do. Um, but still, I feel like it's important to plant those seeds. And the question that I asked her about why did you choose this friend, et cetera, is the same one that I ask most couples when I coach them is why did you choose your mate? Why did you choose this partner? And I have a second story. I'm going to get to what that kind of looks like in that sense, some of the answers that I've gotten, some of the dynamics that might be very familiar to you. They were to me, and they're things that we all kind of have to check sometimes. But that conversation with my daughter made me remember and recall why I chose my husband. Because I wasn't impressed with a lot of people until I met him. And I can definitively articulate, like, yo, and even to my daughter, I say this, right? I chose your father. I chose him at the time because I observed how he interacted with his nieces and nephews when, he didn't think anyone was watching, being a big kid, looking after them, having conversations with them, allowing them to have a voice. And I thought to myself, this man's going to be a great father one day. He's going to be an involved father. He's going to be a fun father. You know what I mean? It's different when it's your own kids though, and you can't send them anywhere. But still, all those core things that I saw were there. He was someone who wasn't overly like overly involved in what other people thought, right? He didn't play games. So like while other people, they might not call you, you texting, what happened? I thought we had a great conversation. He was on it with calling me, asking me the things that I liked, setting up dates around things that I liked. We went to the theater, we went to get sushi. Like he was really intentional about that from the beginning and letting me know like, yo, I like you. It wasn't like I'm not going to let you know that I don't like you to see how you feel about me and see if you like me, then I'll let you in. And, he was the first one to say that he loved me because I was dealing with how quickly the feelings were coming up for me and being able to articulate it. He was not. He wanted me to meet his family. He lived in Brooklyn and I lived in the Bronx. So when we met up and we hung out, he would he would take the train to make sure I got home all the way in the Bronx. And it was like almost 2 hours for him to get back to Brooklyn. Like, sometimes it would take a long time. But he would take the train for me in the Bronx, make sure I got home okay, and then take the train all the way back home. And he would do that every time. And I hung out with people beforehand with cars, okay, that did not do that. Wild. And when his coworkers would clown him for how quickly he was, wrapped around my whatever, getting how quickly he was into me and how he was handling our, budding relationship, he'd be like, yeah, I'm feeling her. Yeah, I'm gonna do this for her. Yeah, I want to do that for her. And it was refreshing. And he was a self-starter and a self-learner. He was always reading books. He was always learning things. He was very inquisitive. He was always questioning things. He was always trying to understand how things work. I saw the genius in him, the intelligence in him. And when we had his first conflict, I saw how he might be, be kind of getting defensive or shutting down, and those human emotions that we can have in conflict, but then also willing to come back and have a conversation about it because he actually wanted repair and he wasn't just like deuces. You know what I mean? Like those all of those things and more, right? And none of the things were that I mentioned were physical, but I enjoyed many things about that as well. Um, so I can go there. But character wise, and in looking at who he was, it felt like somebody I could move through life with. And these were the reasons why I chose him. And that was really important for me. It's important for me to anchor into that and to remember that. I feel like it's important for my children to understand why they let certain people into their lives. Because sometimes we let people into our lives that we shouldn't. But there's a reason for it. There's a reason we opened the door, that we created this space. And as much as a mom, I want to protect my child's and my children's heart from friendship heartbreak, from partnership heartbreak. I can't really control that. But what I can do, I am doing is why did you choose this person? Why do you want this person in your life? Why do you enjoy having this person in your life? And like I said in the beginning, because I'm not gonna hold you, that's my brother says all the time, I'm not gonna hold you when we're on the phone. About like I ask this question to couples I coach. Here's the reason. Same reason I ask it of myself is because it's an anchor. So often when we're going through seasons of hardship, of challenge, where there's arguments, there's hurt, there's misunderstanding, there's not a sense of emotional safety, we can hone in real quick on all the things that are going wrong. What you said, what you did. I don't like that you did this. I don't like that you do this. I don't like that every time we, have an argument, you don't want to be storming off and you don't want to, like we we can go in boop on all the things that we feel are not right or wrong. And what this and how this person packaged in this person that is our partner, I'm not feeling you. I can't stand you. I don't like you right now. We can go into that. But what anchors us is to be able to articulate why we chose them, why we chose them in the beginning and why we're choosing them now. Because if you're still here, you're still making the choice to be with them. So we got to unearth what that is. And I find that it's a really key tool around challenge and hardship and challenging seasons in a relationship and in a marriage, because you're going to have them, to be like, why? Why you? And what I found with my couples as well as myself is that if it's challenging to articulate why them, we got to get there. We got to get there because you're close to, if you're not able to grab hold of that, you've distanced yourself pretty far from the connection in the relationship. And that doesn't mean that all the reasons where you're having difficulty and challenge aren't valid. Those are always valid too. And you can articulate them usually really well and quickly too, because they're top of mind. But what else? And so asking that just allows you to settle into your choice, to settle into looking at the wholeness of who that person is, flaws and all. Because whether it's friendships, whether it's family relationships and dynamics, whether it's a life partner, we are still going to, you're going to have those challenges. You're going to have clashes in personality. You're going to go through things that make you not your best. They're going to go through things that make them not their best. And, anchoring to something real and the connection that you have that is real allows for you to give more grace in the seasons where grace is needed and desired. Um, so that you can continue with the relationship in a way that feels good, and with the friendship in a way that feels good. In talking to my daughter, right, it starts with like her friendship choices, which I'm really happy about. um but I didn't get asked that. I don't remember. Do you? Like, let me know if your parents, your guardians, grandparents, whomever had those conversations with you about like looking at someone's character when it comes to the friends that you picked. And not like after the fact, not like, oh, you already picked friends that they think are questionable and they just trying to tell you these friends are questionable. But like beforehand, having conversations about discerning people's character, looking at why you choose to have certain people in your life, and then how did that inform who you picked as a partner, or did it? I am genuinely curious because it those are the things that I asked myself, and I think that was really helpful. Is why I didn't really. It's why my husband was my first boyfriend. Some might call me a late bloomer. Fine, that's fine. But it was like, even in hanging out with other people before him, I didn't feel a foundation enough where I'm like, oh, this is a person I actually want to like put all my energy into. He was the first person, and mind you, I was young. Okay, I was like a year out of undergrad when I met him. So, um, I was just like, he was the first person though that I could be like, yo, I can put my energy into this person. It feels very worth it. And we put a lot of energy because after 8 months in our relationship, we were long distance for 2 years, and still in those 2 years maintained the relationship, got engaged, got married after I finished graduate school. So yeah, I feel like I chose well, but I know that there are people who feel like they don't. And kind of stripping it down to, do we know how to pick them? My friend would be like, is my picker off? And yeah, I think it's something to look at. But once you've already picked them, then you're anchoring to why you chose them then and why you continue to choose them now is the question. Um, so yeah, sometimes it can be challenging to find the answer if you're in a season where you feel like, yo, it's hard for me to answer that question. It's hard for me to find an answer to why I chose this person. In the distance and the disconnect feels way stronger than you would like it to feel. I hear you. Meet me in the comments. Section you want to foster more connection. I got, not comment section, well, maybe I will put it as a comment, but meet me in the description. um, and check out the marriage reset bundle. You can move at your own pace with that and still get support and guidance. And if you want something a little bit more, check out the marriage culture. So that's there in the description for you. If that feels aligned, if that resonates, please go check that out. So, hey, all right. Thank you. Thank you for being here. That's what I got today. Hopefully, this resonates with somebody. If it does, let me know. If you're here and you're still here in the special club of people that actually have the attention span to get to the end of the video, I appreciate you. Say hey in the comments so that I know that you're here, because I know that you're more than just the numbers that come up on my screen. You are a person just like I am here on this side of the screen. And I appreciate you hanging out with me this far into the video. So I'm Imani Aisha. I am here making videos to remind us and encourage us to stay connected, connected to yourself, connected to your spouse, and to creating a life that feels good to you because we only get the one. So if that's your vibe, please subscribe and let's continue this conversation. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.